All right, everybody, it's now time for my top 10. I just realized we filmed like 5 videos, so we're in this attire.
I should have took the vest off.
We
maybe
should
took the
change.
hat off, but
Yeah, we're gonna try and power through. It's 2 in the morning. We've been filming for the last whatever hours. So Justin last time came in with some heat, had some honorable mentions, had some non-comic book stuff, which I was not prepared for. I was like, oh, this dude is showing me up. So I went and grabbed 2 video games off my, come on camera, work with me, there we go. Super Mario Odyssey and A Hat in Time. All I'm going to say is, you know, they play kind of like old N64 games like Super Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, that kind of stuff. So I love them. I don't want to spend forever talking about them because we got a long list to get through, but they're great. They would honestly probably be my number 1 if I wasn't trying to do all comic books. But, because I made my list of all comic books and then Justin showed up and
my bad.
Showed me up. Okay, so this is a book. If you guys watch Reggie Collect's YouTube channel, he turned me on to this book. It's Korvac, first Korvac. It's Giant Size Defenders, number 3. It's not a book that's doing anything yet, but this is the way that I see it, okay? I try to read a lot to try to predict what's the next Thanos. And I feel like I remember Marvel saying, we want it to be stronger than Thanos. So that narrows it down a little bit, because who's stronger than Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet?
It's a short list.
Yeah, it's short. I also assume it's probably a space villain. There's not too many Earth villains that are going to be stronger than Thanos. So I'm just trying to buy up any affordable space villain that I can get my hands on, which I also... This was kind of a book that I kind of found on my own. eBay helped turn me on to it. But I was just looking up any kind of ties. And this is first Tyrant. This is the first cameo. Or no, this is the first full appearance. I also have the first cameo. He's apparently... I think Galactus just makes him. So I was like, you know what? I think Galactus is coming with Fantastic Four.
Gotta be.
So I'm trying to get any keys associated. But again, I don't think it's out yet. But I said I'm going to do a space video of my own, so we'll talk about that more down the road if we haven't already talked about it. So next up is number 9, second appearance of Hobgoblin. There's a very funny quote I have on the channel about this, but basically when we started this channel I said, what are some realistic but awesome Spider-Man villains? My favorite was Green Goblin, but it's one of those like, oh, I'll never own like ASM 14 or whatever Green Goblin is. So I was like, Hobgoblin, right? Mm-hmm. Walmart brand Green Goblin. So that's what I wanted. And then I was going to cons and I saw Spider-Man 238, couple $100. Some graded, some raw. I was like, I'll never own that book. So Epicos had this for like 20 bucks. No, this one was like 40, I think. So I was like, yes, yes, yes. I even had like a $10 off stamp. I was like, yes, give me that. So I bought second appearance of Hobgoblin.
And I will say, for you talking about me being negative at times about comics, for some reason, just Hobgoblin in general was negative for you. Like, it was, okay, it was realistic, but I remember you being, like, kind of negative on, like, I may, like, never, like...
Okay, so... He was just one of those characters in the 90s. So I have, my first comic book I've ever bought is Ghost Rider 16. You know that, of course, but I don't know if you know the follow-up to this. The villain in 16 and 17 is a Hobgoblin. So
I don't think I did.
I've kind of had a secret
like villain crush.
Yeah, on Hobgoblin, because he was like the first villain I read about. Because it's also a tie-in with Spider-Man. So in 16 and 17 you get Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, and Hobgoblin. And I was like...
What a great story.
Yeah, I'm like, this is kind of amazing. So that started this... But I just assumed he was like an off-brand Green Goblin. And then when I go to a con and I see $500 for like an 8.0 or something. This was like 2 years ago. I don't know if that number is right at all. But it was intimidating.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm priced out at $238. Which is so sad because $238... He's ripping Spider-Man in half. It may be one of my favorite covers.
Yeah.
You know, so...
That's awesome.
This cover is not nearly as good, but it's still good. And I remember you bought this like in 2018.
Yeah.
Because you were like, yo, this is them actually fighting. Because in 238, it's literally just him sneaking into his little workshop and changing into Hobgoblin. He doesn't do any... Like, he's like a trench coat kind of like stalker dude, and he blows up a building, and then he sneaks off into this little cubby.
Like sometimes they should give the credit to like the following book.
Because I'm like, dude, okay, if both books were $200, I would easily buy 239 because it's actually Hobgoblin doing stuff.
Right.
But 238 is the first appearance. It's the one that has the amazing cover. We spent longer on that than I thought for a second appearance of Hobgoblin.
All right.
The order could probably be switched anyway around. It doesn't really matter to me. This is first Doomsday. I gotta tell you, I got this for $10. They had it marked 20. It was half off at Cartersville Con. Doomsday is a villain. I mean, he's responsible for all that 90s comic book crash when they killed off Superman. Everyone, like, my uncle used to tell me, like, because as a kid you say, oh, no one can kill Superman. My uncle, but with Doomsday could. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, Doomsday? What do you mean Doomsday could kill Superman? What are you talking about? And then I saw, like, they made an animated movie and just all this stuff. So I was like, dude, Doomsday has to be, like, the greatest villain ever. And then I found his first appearance for $10. And I'm like, there's no way this is $10. I don't know what it's worth.
I mean, that's still awesome.
It looks really good. I wish I had Jessica here to, like...
I think Superman is in the tops for like heroes with the best villains. He's got a good list, and Doomsday is just one of the strong ones on that list.
Yeah.
So it makes like any big villain first full appearance is great by.
Yeah.
But a Superman villain, that much better.
It fits my criteria of space, an epic villain, a good cover, and it was $10.
Yep.
So
cannot beat that.
No, you really cannot. What can I say? What can I say? This is this isn't a childhood book, but ROM. So the deal with ROM is, Justin and I have talked endlessly about how spoiled we are nowadays with comic book stores and cons everywhere. But him and I have reminisced. He would do like Mile High, and I would do eBay. That's where I would get my comics. But my dad and mom knew that I was really into it, and they tried to support it. And when my dad would go out, he would find just random lots of comics. I don't know. He would go to like antique malls, and one time he went to a Kroger, and some guy was just selling comics. At least that's how he tells me. He's like, yeah, I was at Kroger, and some dude was just selling comics in the parking lot. I'm like, that's the weirdest story I've ever heard, but that is awesome.
I wish it happened more often.
Yeah, I know. Dude, this was probably like 2007, 2006 maybe. Around that time I was first getting into comics, because this was how I got my collection prior to starting the channel. And in it was ROM. Like 2 books of ROM. I was like, ROM the Space Knight, what is this? So I read them, never saw a ROM comic again until Cartersville Con?
Oh Lord, and
is that what it was?
Oof. Yeah.
And so this is when we met Why So Serious. And I'm flipping through and I'm talking to him and he's like, yeah, these are just 50-cent books. Like, people like reading comic books, so, these are just reader copies. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I happen to read comic books, So, and I'm like, dude, it's so weird that you have ROM comics. I never see ROM comics. And I tell him the story, and he goes, you know what? Take all my ROM comics for $5. So, I bought 33 ROM comics for $5.
I still can't get over that. Like, when I think ROM, I think of that moment.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when you showed me that.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't right next to you when you bought it.
No, you weren't.
And I saw it later and thought, oh my God. That was amazing, though.
Yeah. Yeah. And now, him and I would I would talk with Why So Serious, saying, I'm on the lookout for ROM number 1. I'm going to find that book, because everywhere that I've seen it has it expensive. I'm like, dude, it's ROM number 1. Why is this book expensive? And then I found it for $6. And I bought it from a booth. I went over to Why So Serious. I said, I just got this for $6. And he was like, that is awesome. And that's kind of the bond you make through stuff like this. He watched me for 2 years, or like a year, try to get that book at a reasonable price. Let's keep moving on. I don't know how this got this low. I honestly don't. Well, I do. It's because Spider-Man exists.
This list is becoming very elite.
Teen Titans number 1. It's funny you say that, dude. I think this is like one of the most affordable key books that everyone should be buying.
Yeah, you're probably
Is
that on the back accurate?
Yeah, I paid $10 for this.
Wow.
I paid $10.
That's awesome.
Now, most of the time I see it for 30 or 40. Thank you, Boston. But I got it for 10. I would never pass this book up for $10. If I was at a con tomorrow, I would buy it for $10.
I'm about to say, if you had like 12 of them, you'd buy it for $10, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought.
Again, excuse my dog. She's like, oh, they're talking.
But you know, if you had that many of them, you could kind of corner the market.
I could. I'd be like, you want a Teen Titans one? You gotta go through me.
It won't be $10 anymore. Sorry, guys.
Okay, hopefully I remember to cut that out. I should probably take a minute to talk about this. So, I grew up animated Teen Titans. I didn't get to watch the Batman animated series, the Superman animated series, the Justice League, Young Justice. I watched Teen Titans, and when we were getting back into the channel, like the whole reason we started this channel, or the whole reason I had the confidence to, is Gamers Haven opened up in Cartersville, and they had just dollar Teen Titan books. Not this one, obviously, but I was just going crazy. I was just buying their Teen Titans list like crazy. This was like a month before the channel started, and I'm telling Justin, I'm like, I don't know at this point in time what your knowledge of Gamers Haven was. But I was like, you know, we gotta come here.
Right.
And I basically bought every Teen Titans book they had of this Marv Wolfman, George Perez run. And it started an unhealthy obsession of I'm going and buying all the Marv Wolfman keys. So it's unhealthy because everywhere he went, he struck gold. I mean, he made Spider-Woman, he made obviously Deathstroke, he made The Man Called Nova. Those are just the ones off the top of my head. He was working on Tomb of Dracula when they made Blade. He may not have been the writer. He probably was the writer. I don't think he was the writer, but he was like an editor or something on Daredevil when they made Bullseye. So everywhere he goes, if he's working on a project, there is something coming out of it. Those are just the ones off the top of my head. Seriously, we could talk forever about Teen Titans, but we got a long list.
What number are we on? That's what I'm curious about. Have we made it into the top 5 now?
6. Yeah. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Wow. Okay. Awesome.
Wow, that took a turn, didn't it?
It did.
First Hobgoblin. What?
We had to set up some suspense.
Yeah, we did. We did. So this was like $20, honestly. It was not bad. They told me if you get this graded, it will come back a 0.5. The sticker is missing, and that's the big thing. So it's incomplete, and then maybe something's going on with the staple. I don't really remember. If I have the guts, I may read this once, but I've read it online. I personally just care about this cover.
Oh yeah.
The story is not anything to write home about. Like I said, he blows up a building and then retreats into his little cubby. So I don't care about the story, but this is just, I don't even care. I've debated on getting it graded, taking the loss on whatever it comes back as, and just having, because the cover looks impeccable.
Right.
I mean, based off the cover alone, this would be like a 9. I mean, there's maybe a couple, there's a couple of stuff here and there, of course, but it's an amazing cover. I don't really have anything to say. I'm not necessarily hurting for a higher grade. I don't hear any talks of like movies. It's just a book that's stupid expensive for no reason, you know?
But Hobgoblin, it's a Spider-Man villain, and he has a long list of really good villains. And what I will say about that book is, I'm not going to spoil anything for the rest of the list, but that was in the prime of where you went on this streak of several books you've been negative on, or I'll never own.
I did.
You just magically came up with them. Like, I would come over, and like, you would have it all of a sudden, which I thought was amazing. So
it's probably a little help from the Amazing Spider-Man, and it 100% is being in the right place at the right time. They had this book, I think, a bit more than 20, and they looked at me and said, I'll do 20. Like, I'll seriously do 20. And they were upfront. They said, look, the tattoo's missing. It's probably not going to get a good grade. And I said, this cover looks amazing. I don't care. And they were like, okay, if you're happy, I'm happy. I was like, I'm very happy. That is it. I mean, it is being at the right place at the right time. I don't really have too many secrets. Haggle if you need to haggle. The worst they can do is say no. Like, don't offend them. If they have it listed for 100 and you say 10, don't do that. But, you know, either try to bundle or ask. Talk to them. A lot of vendors, they've said, like, I have it at 20, let me explain kind of what's wrong with it. I'll do 15 because it does kind of have these defects. Because a lot of the time a sucker's not going to ask. They're just going to give them the money. But if you sit there and have a conversation with them, and they'll hook you up.
And the best part about it is no termite damage.
No termite damage, yeah.
That's a must.
This next one is also going to be a damaged book, but you're not going to know that. unless I tell you.
I'm in the top 3. Is that right?
Yeah, this is top 3.
Wow, I thought that was wow.
Yeah, you'll see.
Okay.
You'll see. He'll probably argue with my number 2 because I don't even know if I knew
It's
it
your
was a
list.
number
No
2.
argument for me.
Yeah, it's whatever. These look. Okay, it's First Carnage, and again, if I didn't tell you, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know anything. But what do they say? This one has like this. One of the staples is detached. This bottom staple is detached. And they were saying they were saying if you read it over time, eventually it's gonna like the spine's gonna unroll or something like that. I don't know, but for me, when I never thought I would have this book.
And
right?
I gotta be honest, that's like one of the weakest points of like this book wouldn't be as perfect grade. Like it's missing a staple.
Yeah. I mean the cover again.
It looks.
It
so
does.
good, man. It
does.
looks so good.
You wouldn't know. You really wouldn't know.
And I don't know if it gets you excited, but look who drew it.
No, I knew that.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I went and bought 360.
Yeah.
That is one of the reasons. I meant to tell you that when we got to filming.
Okay.
But I've got my Carnages for the movie, so I don't care how low grade they are.
I'm still trying to catch up there.
I'm good to go. I got 360. I got 360.
Oh, and for that book, Wesley told me, he was like, dude, you're not going to believe what book I got. Like, I think I came over super late at night just so I could be surprised. He was showing me like some like little haul that he got, and I was like, that's cool and all. Where's all this big fuss?
Yeah.
He had it like set up on display over.
I made him find it basically.
All of a sudden, I look up and see it and made eye contact, and I immediately thought, no way.
No way.
But that was cool. That
know.
was really cool.
Dude, okay, so I was telling Jessica, like, condition is king in comics, and if you really want a book, sometimes you have to buy a lower grade. Yeah. I hate to say that, but I was not going to be able to afford a 9.0 or a 9.8.
Well, for the most part, I think we're fine with that. I think our big thing is covers.
Look, to me, these are perfect.
I mean, here's the evidence that we love covers. If the cover's there, we're pretty on board.
And these are two of my favorites. I don't know if I just have a thing for Spider-Man getting whooped on the cover.
Starting to sense a theme, but I mean, villains are the theme usually. So
yes. So look, like the tattoo can be cut out. I don't care. I can read it online if I really want to read it.
Right.
But I want that cover. And those covers are great. Speaking of covers, Justin, here we go. Number 2. Okay. Yeah. It is this Red Ranger foil, and I don't even know how much justice the camera does. But this is where the list got tough between making personal decisions versus like and I think we're gonna have like a number 0 also.
Okay.
Because I think I have 2 more books.
Okay.
So that's what I wasn't necessarily planning on doing this video tonight. Justin came over and I was like, hey, did you finish your list of 2019? He's like, no. Do I need to have that done? I said, no rush, man, because I didn't even really have mine. And he goes, like a few minutes later, he's leaving. He says, okay, and I brought my top list of 2019. I said, all right, we're doing that tonight then. So I did not have time to finalize this list, but I love this list anyway. I got this I started doing this that same night we started doing like the Detective Comics 1000.
Yeah, yeah.
And I didn't know this was a thing. Like they just kept making these foil covers. Black Ranger's coming out next month. Green Ranger's coming out the month after that. You guys will probably see Green Ranger on the 2020 pickups. But I was telling Justin that those Power Ranger variants are maybe my favorite. I really like Middleton variants, but these Power Rangers and the TMNT Power Rangers may be my favorite.
And I will say, it's your list, so I totally support that. That's one of the best covers. And honestly, out of that run, you could pick a cover. Like they're some of the best covers I've ever seen.
Yeah. So I actually just looked down at this list. I have 3 more books. I don't know what.
That's okay.
We're gonna go ahead and restart. Okay. Yeah, I don't think Justin and I care. Like we're having fun. So, number 1. We're gonna do
1, 0, and negative 1.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Oh, I forgot about that book.
Yeah, Second Kingpin. This one is beat. This is legitimately beat. I don't know how much the camera is going to do. I like to say it's like someone took the cover and tried to do origami. It is rough, and I just don't know if I can get this camera to... There we go. Maybe I should have been doing that the whole time, huh? It is beat, but dude, who cares? This is second appearance. Kingpin.
I was about to say, now let me ask you, weighing this between First Carnage and second Kingpin, do you give Kingpin the nod for age?
Every time.
Okay.
And notoriety. I think
that's
Kingpin
quite
is,
a few decades older than Carnage,
Yeah.
so I could see that.
and that's why I'm willing to take, I don't know, 2, 3, I don't care what this comes back as. I found this at a I almost said Pawn Stars, the show, but like a pawn shop. My friend got this for me, and it was like $30. And my friend was like, dude, if you really want this, I'll get this for you. And I was like, it's second Kingpin. Yeah, I want it. Yeah, he was very nice to do this for me. Yeah, and you're talking about a 1960s book. This is 51, so probably 1968-ish.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
If I had to do some math off the top of my head.
Could even be 67, maybe.
And when you talk about that, I'm just okay with getting rougher grades. Like
Absolutely.
it's bent and it's kind of whacked, but there's no real like cuts or like, you know what I mean? Like the cover's intact. It's rough looking, but it's second.
It's still beautiful to me. It's beautiful to me.
And okay, so again, I got a lot of these books because they were damaged. Like that's just the moral of the story. If you are, I know some people just will not come off like, I need a 9.8 for this book. I need a this for that. I'm investing in this book. I'm not necessarily investing in any of these books, so I just want them. Case in point, Daredevil #2. So, you know, I'm just going to quote myself. I never thought I would own Daredevil #2. Thankfully, some moron in 1964 took this sucker and shot BB bullets through it.
Dude, he could have done it in 1986.
He absolutely could have, but why would you? I don't know. Okay.
Maybe by then they knew what they had, so why would he?
There we go. See that?
That makes sense.
I was in Fantasy Factory, and me and the owner, we took this book out and we were flipping through it. Like, yeah, some kid just took a BB gun and just decided to knock this from, you know, a couple $100 or $1,000 book down to something that I could afford that day. So, thank you, random person, for shooting this book up, because you can still read it. It's just BB hole bullets. But
yeah, and that is amazing. And also, most of these really top books here were in this stretch where Wesley was just showing me, like every time I would see him, he got a new amazing book, and I thought, oh my gosh, like I need to go on more trips with this guy.
Dude, I talked to people. I said, look, I can't afford this at where you have it. Can we meet in the middle? And we met in the middle.
It's awesome.
That's just how it goes.
Are we on to the very last
This is
book?
the very last book.
The very last book.
Now,
number -1.
Number -1. To you guys, it's not going to be as cool as half these books that I just showed you. But to me, I mean, you got to understand, it's my list. So,
awesome.
don't get too excited. This is Marvel Spotlight number 6. If you are astute, you know that the big book is Marvel Spotlight number 5, which Why So Serious has at every con just taunting me. I'm like, stop it. Don't bring that book. Stop it. But, yeah, this is my number 1 because it is the second appearance of Ghost Rider.
That is amazing. Now, where did you get that book?
I got this Epicos.
Epicos.
Like $6. Yeah.
Legit?
Yeah, like $6. They just had it in their bin, like $6.
Did they overlook this? Like, is this a great, like, miss?
Everywhere that I see it, people are trying to sell it for $30.
Okay.
That's where every time, even
Wow.
Epicos tried to sell it at $30 one time and I didn't buy it.
That is amazing. See, I didn't actually even really, like, I know you've shown me that, but it didn't click with me that you got it for that cheap.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's amazing.
I've passed it at $30 every time, and then I was looking at Jessica. I was like, "They have this for like $6. That's crazy."
Yeah.
I haven't flipped through it to make sure it's all there, but probably.
You brought the heat in 2009. Like 2020 has got a lot of work.
2020 is going to be so much more pedestrian, and I'm going to love that.
I have a feeling there's going to be some more diversity in our buys too.
Well, I'm going for that complete Wii U collection, so some Wii U games will probably make it on the list.
Oh yeah.
But we've been doing mostly comics, so I tried to get some comic books on here that I thought people would find cool.
Yeah, that was great though. Like, what a list.
Yeah, I got lucky with Amazing Spider-Man. It's just being in the right place, honestly.
Yeah.
Because those books are hundreds of dollars anywhere else.
Like, if it was probably good that on some of those I wasn't around, Like, we might have had like a knockdown drag out for like some of those.
So my thing, my honest thing is that Justin cares about 4 big characters: Batman, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Wolverine.
That's my top 4 heroes.
So if it came down to one of us getting a Spider-Man key, I would probably let you have it.
Oh no, I wouldn't literally make
I'm
you
just
do that.
I'm just saying, like,
whoever finds it first. But I try to do that with you for like Daredevil though.
yeah.
So like and if it was a Ghost Rider, I would.
Right.
So,
yeah.
We all have our like tops.
Yeah. I'm not always trying to buy a book just because it's a key.
Right.
So. But dang, dude. I honestly don't want 2020 to top that. I know that sounds weird, but it means that I would have had to have lost my mind in some books.
Or gotten rich, won the lottery.
Okay, if I get rich, if the YouTube channel like takes off and we got that YouTube cash, then sure, I hope 2020 is amazing. But if not, I don't know.
And if nothing else, we put a great 2019 in the books, I think.
I think so. 2018 was the year of rushing to try to complete Teen Titans.
Yeah.
That's what I spent all my effort on. Then I finished Teen Titans and I was like, look at all this world of stuff.
I think 2018 was very much, at least for me, I can speak for myself, eye-opening.
Learning
to comics.
We
We learned. And we came away with some good stuff, but then we could apply that knowledge in 2019.
Yes.
By then, we kind of know the deal.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it helped. Like, 2018 being the, what do they say, like, wet behind the ears year. Getting your feet wet. But dude, I enjoyed it. There's so many other keys. Like I brought this guy out because I didn't know if this was gonna get on the list or not. It's not a book anybody cares about. It's First Puma, but
I care about it.
Okay, yeah, we care about it. But the thing is, like, I was just finding keys like this, $3. Like I bought first Mr. Negative. I bought I don't know, just random keys. Bought a lot of Teen Titans keys. I bought like first Miss Martian, stuff that not hot right now. So go get it.
Did the Eternals book even make the list?
That's Jessica's book.
Oh, okay.
That would maybe
want to
make
edit that out.
Yeah,
I
spoilers.
thought that was your book.
No, she got the Eternal books. So I'm gonna try to convince her to do one of these lists. I'll tell her she can do art and stuff.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah,
I don't know if she got art last year. I think she might have got the Brian
I'm sure
one
there
in
was
2018.
some. There was some.
She may have got that.
I don't think I should talk about it. I'll keep spoiling things. So.
You just reveal her whole top 10.
Or accidentally talk about her whole top 10.
Well, that's it for us. Let us know. I mean, I guess we can wait for Jessica if she does hers. But if she doesn't feel like doing one, then let us know what you guys got in 2019. Because we had a good year, I think.
Absolutely.
We had a good year.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
And we'll see you next time.